Hello everyone. Welcome back to Anmoll Astrology channel. Now this video is about happiness from marriage. Okay, so many people ask this thing that am I going to be satisfied within my marriage? Am I going to be happy within my marriage? See, there's difference between this situation, right? One, that you get married to a person of your choice, right? One, you get into an arranged marriage, but it doesn't signify that if you are getting married by your own choice you are going to be happy, right? So there's no, basically practically there's no evidence for that if you're getting married by your own choice you're going to stay happy. I have seen arranged marriages working so perfectly, and love marriages sometimes do not work out that perfectly, right? So the question is, how do you know that this is going to be a very snapshot technique, so as to know that how you can just simply know that whether you are going to be happy or satisfied within the marriage or not. Okay, and for that I won't go around with so a bunch of knowledge for this factor, because since I told you guys this is snapshot prediction, so it is going to be confined within one for particular domain, right? So for this we won't look for D1 chart, rather we look for just the D9 chart or the Navamsha chart. Okay, so as to know whether you're happy within your marriage, whether you're comfortable, you're not, you're satisfied, this is something that you know from your Navamsha. Even if your D1 is clustered, suppose your 7,000 D1 is clustered, it's not well placed, bad planets are there, but suppose your D9 is beautiful, right, with all the benefics in the kendras, with benefics placed associated with the first and seventh, then it means that of course the initial interaction with the spouse or initial experiences of you yourself within the marriage kind of thing or the relationships has not been good, but once you get into that marriage, then it's surprisingly good. Like, this is something which happens um in the in television or in movies, that first you have to get married as a compromise, but then you start falling in love with the person and the compatibility is really good, all of that thing, right? And it could either go other way around also. You can be very happy initially, but ultimately there could be more struggles than you expect. Okay, so for that you need to look for your T9 and two planets. And I know most of you have guessed this, that which of these two planets are. First is your moon, second is your Venus. So, howsoever your moon and Venus are placed in your Navamsha chart, that is actually going to tell you that how happy you are in a marriage, how good your marriage is, how loving your marriage is, how romantic your marriage is, everything that you'll get to know just with these two planets. Okay, so why moon? Moon is your emotions. Moon is how you react to the situations of life, right? So here what will happen, that how you are going to react towards marriage, how you are going to react towards your experience with the other person. So see, in D1 what happens, how you react towards the life situations is in the D9 actually represents how you are going to react to the situations of marriage, how much happiness you are going to yield from the marriage, right? And Venus, we know it's about relationships. For an individual, it's about the spouse, be it be male or female. And especially in case of males, it is very important because it is the significant other. the female one. Okay, so the Venus in the D1 is actually going to tell you how you connect with females on general. Right, it is going to tell you about your spouse, definitely, but it could be the initial encounters, it could be the initial nature, yeah, initial kind of, love that you experience with someone. But within the D9, it's just about you and your spouse. That's why we call it as the chart of the spouse, because it is good. The Venus within that particular chart is going to tell you how you and your partner have a relationship with each other. What kind of love you guys share, what kind of devotion you guys share with each other. Okay, so that's why, firstly, D9 chart. Secondly, the two planets, Moon and Venus. Now, I just wanted to tell you guys something that this is not going to be more predictive, but I would say this is going to be very informative. Okay, that how can you self-judge about the placement? Now, you just need to see in your D9, of course, the first and the seventh house matters. But here we are not talking about how the marriage life is going to be. We are just talking about how will you be happy within the marriage and will you have a loving happy marriage or not. Right. So now you need to see wherever your moon is placed, wherever your Venus is placed. So the first one is actually the sign and the element. Okay. Right? So the first and foremost thing is going to be the sign and the element. Wherever moon is, okay, I actually forgot to write the placement, right? So the first one is going to be the placement, the sign, and the element of the moon, right? And of the Venus also. First, it's just about happiness. You need to check your happiness, that will you be satisfied or will you be happy? Check your moon. Moon's placement, moon sign, moon's element. Then check the conjunction. Sometimes it is very well placed. Like, for example, you have moon in the first house. So you know that you are going to be very well connected within the marriage, especially emotionally. Your mind is always there. Your happiness is always there. If you have moon in the seventh house, that means your happiness actually comes from your spouse. Your spouse always tries to make you happy. They always make different jokes so as to make you happy. They are very, whenever you are sad, they just get affected equally as well. Okay, any ups and downs in the marriage, that is going to affect you a lot. The second thing is people with moon and moon in the first house or seventh house or in the fourth house or in the 10th house. This is actually a strong moon in the kendras, but it actually means there is going to be mood swings for an individual, and their partner is also going to experience mood swings in their life. Right, but it does tell that you are going to get happiness from your marriage because your moon is well placed. Right, now you just know this. Now you need to know what is going to be the degree of this happiness. Right, if suppose you have moon in the first house in Cancer, you are very happy, you're very nurturing. If suppose moon here is in Cancer, very happy, very nurturing. Right, a very emotional connection with the spouse, emotionally extremely connected with the spouse, always wants to be around spouse. The spouse also wants to be around you all the time. Okay, so very emotional connection, emotional bonding with the particular individual, very homely marriage, I would rather say. They have huge family, they have get-togethers, they have emotional bond with everyone. But what if this is in Scorpio? The same placement can actually be a little burdening. So that's why sign is very important. Element is very important. Both are water elements. So the element is important. How? If your moon is in water element in the D9 chart, that means you are very much connected emotionally with the spouse, and you actually get that emotions out of the marriage. Your emotions are actually entertained within the marriage. But talking about this, we'll actually, I'll come to it afterwards. Let's talk about just elements. If suppose it is an earth sign, then you're a very balanced individual within the marriage. You know how much emotions you need to present and how much to keep it back. So it's not like that you are just pouring in the jar, pouring, and it is overfilled, and just like a moon in the water sign. Moon in the water sign is like you have a jar, you are pouring water into it, it is overfilled, it is, but the water is coming out, but you're still pouring in it. That's moon in a water sign. But when it is moon in the earth sign, it means that you know how much to give, how much to invest in a person, right? So if it is an air sign, you're very youthful with your behavior. You sometimes will act very, very involved within the person. Sometimes you'll be just like in your own world. So you always, with air moons, you always have a guard there. But that guard is actually to create the attraction. That guard is always to, create so that the spark can remain there. So that's why you'll see people, suppose this moon is here in the third house, in suppose Gemini or Libra or Aquarius, you'll see these people. What will happen is that these people will be very, very communicative. They are going to communicate about their emotions always to you. And, they are always going to speak good, nurturing words with you, but they'll be very clever with the usage of words. They'll be very clever how much communication they are giving to you. Okay, so what will happen? These people, they'll communicate, then they'll be like, oh, I think I over communicated. The next time they're doing something else so as to make you feel distant. Okay, so that's something that air signs do, because what happens is they use their brain. Eventually they just analyze it that, oh, I have over communicated, I need to have some distance so that the spark is there. I'm not the one who is over giving, or that person is not who is over receiving. So the spark should be there. So I'll just ghost this person for some while. I'll just act distant with this person. So they are very much into getting attention. Okay, so we talked about water signs, we talked about earth signs. Earth signs are very balanced with such a thing. Then we talked about air signs. Now it is going to be the fire signs. So what happens with the fire signs is that they are very fiery in nature. They are going to react very quickly. They are going to be very impulsive. So suppose a person has moon in the second house in Leo. So this person, for them, life is everything. Family is everything to them. They are going to behave very bossy within the marriage. They are going to be very considerate about the finances. Why I'm adding an earth element part and a fire element part? Because I have second house. That's the originally earth element house. Then the sign within that particular house is Leo. That's a fire sign. So both of the qualities are going to be in this person. But this person will always try to dominate the other person with the speech, but in a very, very manipulative way. They'll be bossy, but they'll develop such kind of a friendly relationship within the marriage and with the kids as well. Even though they are acting rude, they won't seem to be rude, because that's how they have developed their relationship, a very friendly relationship with their partner and with their sorry and with their children as well, with the family as well on the whole. Okay, so that's how you judge it. Now we are done with the placement. We know that if moon is in certain houses, it is going to behave well. We need to see the sign, we need to see the element. But now suppose moon is in the fourth house in the sign of Cancer, but here it is conjunct Jupiter and Saturn. Now, this alone moon would have been very considerate, it would have been very nurturing, it would have been, very involved in the marriage and all of that. But now, what happens because of the influence of Jupiter and Saturn, because of this conjunction, this is a burdened moon. Although this moon is experiencing that nourishment which the sign of Cancer is giving it, it is experiencing the love, the comforts, but there's always going to be some cost. There's always going to be some sacrifice involved. There's always going to be something, which is always pressurizing this moon. So this moon is not enjoying its position. And if suppose this moon supposes in Scorpio, or in any other critical sign it doesn't like to be in, suppose in Aries, and then they have Jupiter and Saturn, that's a very, very terrible situation. That means this person wanted to connect, this person actually initially connected in a very nicer way, but there are a lot of responsibilities because of which this person has become cold within the marriage. Their interaction with the partner is very limited emotionally. They don't express too much with each other and all of that stuff. N number of predictions can be here. Okay, so that's the power of conjunction. Then aspect, suppose Jupiter is here and Saturn is here and moon is here only. So Saturn is giving third aspect, Jupiter is giving seventh aspect. Although Jupiter has its blessing, this person is going to have a huge home, a huge family, but still they would not be in a very comfortable situation within the marriage. Okay? Because of the aspects they are receiving. You can watch the videos, whatever I have, posted earlier about, and I think I have made a video about the aspects of Saturn also, right? So you'll know what are the aspects of Saturn, what is the meaning of it, and what are for Jupiter also. So then you'll know that how it is going to affect this moon. So now you know how to check your happiness within the marriage. Okay, so I'm again repeating, it has to do nothing much with the D1 chart. So sometimes what happens is, although I'm repeatedly telling in the videos that this is not important, that is not important, just focus on this particular thing, but still people write in the comments, oh, what if this, what if that? So that's why I'm mentioning it again and again, that do not consider D1 here, because this is not about D1 right now. We just need to know the end result, because nobody cares if the result is not good. Nobody cares about the process. Nobody cares about the initiation. Maybe the process is still important, but the initiation is not that important. The result is something which is vital, right? So that's why concentrate on the result. Okay, so here now, just similarly, in a very similar way, check for Venus. One snapshot prediction I'm going to tell you. I've always seen people, mostly I have seen charts with people having Venus and Saturn conjunction in Navamsha, and especially in the 10th house. And the most common thing I've seen with those people is that their marriage is all about hard work. Their marriage is all about, they are always trying to stabilize their marriage and their career. It's actually not more about the marriage. They're so involved in the career. They're so involved in the social life there, that their life is actually mostly about the social circle and their career. Till the time they have a good career, they are going to have a peaceful marriage. But if they do not have a good career, their marriage is getting affected. Okay, So that's something there. And mostly I've seen whenever people have Venus and Saturn conjunction in the 10th house, people actually have both of the partners together work towards the career or work towards the financial situation of the marriage. But what happens? This is not the best placement. Why? Because this creates distance within the marriage. One of the partner is always sacrificing, and the other partner is always trying to dominate. So, what happens? You can see one partner is always trying to look after the home, and the other partner is always, trying to do their acting bit selfish and working towards them. Venus and Saturn conjunction, although we talk about that this is going to be very committed marriage, very people who are very loyal to each other and all of that stuff, but I've not seen this happening in real life. Rather, I've seen most distant marriages with Venus and Saturn, that two people are within the marriage, they are compromising within the marriage. They're compromising, the compromise is actually staying in the marriage is a compromise for them. Okay, I know this can actually sound very brutal and very straightforward, but I've seen that. That's the original prediction that I get. The only way to beautify this particular placement is to go out with your partner, to spend time with your partner, to understand them. Don't act distant. Try to be more involved with them. Try to talk to them. Okay, so you need to see Venus. Suppose Venus is in the first house, fourth house, seventh house, or 10th house. And 10th house actually not, but I've seen it doing much better in first, fourth, and seventh. Venus. If it is alone, great. If it is with moon, very comfortable life. I've seen such people having very comfortable life. The other person is always looking after them, taking care of them, and they are just enjoying. They are just into comfort zone. It could be because of the aspects also. Suppose Venus is in the first house, moon in seventh, moon in first, Venus in seventh, moon in fourth, Venus in 10th. It could happen this way also. Because these people are very sensitive. They get that sensitivity, they get that romance from the marriage, they get that care, nourishment from the marriage. Fourth house Venus, very beautiful marriage. Beautiful in this way that even if it is a chart of a male, he'll be equally invested within the marriage. Okay, so Venus placement is actually going to tell you how romantic your life is, your marriage is, how much devoted you are towards your marriage. Venus in the 12th house, it is actually indivisibly exalted. But Venus in the 12th house would be like you're always expecting so many things from your spouse. You're always in your own world, you're fantasizing about things. So you would require a partner to have a similar thing, because of which Venus in the 12th house is like, it is a very good placement if it's about finances, if it's about traveling, if it's about experiences within the marriage. But it can also work towards the negative aspect. Your expectations are so much that if they are not dealt with, you can go into those kind of traumas that, oh, my husband is not looking after me, I'm feeling sad, and all of that stuff. Suppose this particular Venus is in Scorpio, or it is in Cancer, or it is in Pisces, this is going to actually make you oblivion about the marriage, because you're going to expect so many things. Just like I told you, it's like having a planet in a water sign is like you're pouring, you don't know when to stop. You don't know when to stop expecting. Right. So because of this, although it will give you so many good things in your life, good travel, luxury experience, all of that, but the partner You might feel distant from your partner because your partner might be absent from the marriage. It's not that they are actually absent, it's just you are expecting them to be around you all the time, right? They might be, more concerned with the career, more into responsibility and all of that stuff. That's why you are always into that fantasizing zone, that what should I do, I'm alone, I feel lonely, I feel loss of love, all of that things. Okay, so that's how you judge Venus. Similar thing, look for placement, look for sign, look for element, then look for conjunction. I explained the Venus-Saturn conjunction. If suppose there is Moon, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, all the planets together in the ascendant. Now, just see, Moon and Venus, very soft planets, right? They just get influenced by whichever planet they are with. So this can actually hinder some of the results. Although there's Jupiter, benefic, 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 but one malefic is sufficient to ruin the situation. Of course, you need to see the aspects, you need to see the zodiac sign also. Okay, suppose here Ketu is there. Total spiritual connection with the partner, with the family, but still a person feels neglected. A person feels more comfortable alone. Okay, so it's like they're happy, everything is happy, but still there's something which bothers them inside. Okay, so that's how you judge your happiness and your love situation within the marriage. I hope this was helpful. I hope the examples were easy enough to understand. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. If you guys would like to have your personal consultation, check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com. And under the consultation section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. Apart from this, if you would like to have unique readings, you can check out the unique reading section also. Okay, guys, bye-bye. Take care.